Ever wondered what it would take to complete open water swimming's Ocean 7, understanding the challenges both mentally and physically? Well, today's extraordinary guest contemplated the same dream, but went above and beyond by pushing the boundaries of human endurance by targeting all 7 swims in under a year, and used their incredible achievements to make an impact on mental health support. Today, we talk through the what, the why, the how and the who with the incredible multi-world record holding Andy Donaldson. Welcome to the MYSWIM podcast. MYSWIM is every person's personal adventure in the water, whether it's learning to swim, wild swimming, channel swimming, winter swimming, another aquatic sport like water polo, synchronized swimming, triathlon, or something social with friends, the best kind. And everything in between, your happy place, your aquatic adventure, and together we can explore it. Let's start with the what. What is the Ocean 7? The Ocean 7 is a globally recognised marathon swimming challenge devised in 2008 to push swimmers to conquer 7 varied and challenging channels around the world, with the intention of being the swimming's equivalent to the 7 Summits Mountaineering Challenge. It is a collection of swims, not without controversy, as other equally challenging swims vie to be on the prestigious list, but it has remained consistent since its concept. The recognised list of the swim in 2023, the North Channel between Ireland and Scotland, 21 miles, 34 kilometres. The Cook Strait between New Zealand's North and South Islands, 16 miles, 26 kilometres. The Mukai Channel between Mukai and Oahu, 27 miles or 44 kilometres. The English Channel between England and France, 21 miles or 34 kilometres. The Catalina Channel between Santa Catalina Island and Los Angeles, that's 20 miles, 32 kilometres. The Tsugaru Strait between the Japanese island of Honshu and Hokkaido, which is 12 miles and 20 kilometres. And the final one on the list is the Straits of Gibraltar between Spain and Morocco, which is 10 miles and 16 kilometres. However, do not let the distances or the locations fool you into one being easier than another. As we find out from Andy, they each have their individual challenges, each with a unique aquatic fingerprint, each with an ability to misbehave. I was fortunate enough to meet Andy at the recently formed UltraSwim 33.3 event in Montenegro. Fantastically organised event in a beautiful location that I will be doing a separate podcast about in the coming weeks, and we'll be leaving links to the future events in the show notes. Andy is no ordinary swimmer and now holds multiple British and world records for his completed Ocean 7's achievements, not least the first to complete the challenge in less than a calendar year, as well as having the fastest time for the 7 swims collectively. But Andy's journey doesn't stop there. Alongside his all-inspiring athletic pursuits, he has been working tirelessly to raise awareness and support for mental health, using his swimming challenge to push the limits to get positive change to how mental health and well-being is talked about and how support is provided. Having had the privilege of being able to delve into the mindset of this extraordinary individual, I cannot think of a better ambassador for open water swimming and a champion for mental health support and awareness. My conversation with Andy took place on the stunning beach in the picturesque country of Montenegro between swims on the 33.3 event, and I urge listeners to this audio to visit the MYSWIM.UK YouTube channel, available through links on the MYSWIM.UK website, to see the relaxed beauty of the podcast surroundings. Although the sound quality may not be on par with a pristine sound studio, and you might hear the gentle crashing of waves and the sound of pebbles and the distant laughter of beachgoers and the creaking of a parasol in the gentle breeze, I know you'll appreciate I'm finding it hard to apologise for being outside in such a stunning location and embrace the ambient sounds of nature over the perfection of a studio. For me, this was the perfect studio. So, pull up a chair next to Andy and myself, close your eyes, imagine the breathtaking view, feel the warmth of the sun, and let the atmosphere of the beach in Montenegro ignite your imagination. Get ready to be inspired, captivated, and moved as we uncover the depths of this incredible journey. It'll be a podcast experience like no other. I hope you enjoy.
All right. How pleasant is this? All good, yeah.
Okay. Well, first of all, welcome, Andy.
Mickey, thanks for having me here.
I'll tell you.
I
was going to say it's great to meet in person, but to meet in person and be here
in Montenegro doesn't get much better than that.
It doesn't. And well, just telling the listeners that we're at the 333. Or was it 33.3?
33.3.
Yeah, 33.3 event, and end of day one, and I think my shoulders are not too bad.
Still, hey, you used to do it a lot more.
No, well, says Andy Donaldson sitting here. But you smashed it today. I thought, when we spoke when we got out after the first one, I said, I think I felt a bit stuck because I kept looking at the scenery here, and hopefully, anyone will be doing a podcast on the 333 and listen to that, but you'll see some of the scenery on the YouTube channel, and it is breathtaking. It is absolutely breathtaking. And I said to you, the other day, you said, I couldn't stop looking at the and I thought, right, let's see, just taking it easy. And then you smashed it. You went first, didn't you?
Oh. Well, I was told sort of, Mark and the ultra swim team, kindly brought me out here, and I think they wanted to have me here to sort of mix with everyone and encourage the swimmers, support as much as I can. But he just said, go have some fun on the first one, roll the arms over, you've flown a long way from Australia. And so, I couldn't help myself. I wanted to see what it was like in the first one. And it was great. 4 kilometers. Everyone got maybe about an hour to recover and get some snacks and refuel before going for the second leg. And you could take it a bit easier and just enjoy it. And like you said, take in some of the scenery. It's stunning here.
Okay, then. If we could turn attention now to the Ocean 7, and we'll move on to your achieving it in 1 year and also in a cumulative time world record. If we move on to that, if I can take it back, what was it? What was the original start of that journey? What was it that made you want to take such a challenge on?
Well, I suppose it's it wasn't something that happened overnight. If I look back at my swimming life, I suppose I've always swum from an early age. Growing up on the west coast of Scotland, I was a pool swimmer. Became competitive, had aspirations to race for my country and race all around the world. The dream was always to try and make a Commonwealth team for Scotland. The perfect opportunity presented itself in 2014. And,
the home one, wasn't it?
Home games, and unfortunately, I fell short of that. So, some things don't pan out in life as you were hoping, and I actually stepped away from the sport for a number of years. But it was only really in COVID that I found myself getting back into it, and it wasn't with any of these big long swims in mind. It was just from a place of pure enjoyment and something to do during lockdown, mixing with community, which I just realised how much I missed it and how much an important part of my life that it was.
Were you in UK or Australia at that time?
I was in Australia at the time. My family are in Scotland. I'm fortunate I have my sister out in Perth as well. But no partners or anything like that. And I just, as time went by, I found myself swimming more, getting fitter, wanting to challenge myself. we'd started coaching a few other adults to get into open water swimming, because I was having such a profound impact on me. We wanted to share this and try and encourage other people to give it a crack and pursue some life goals. And my coaching partner at the time, a guy called MYSWIM, he just gave me a bit of a challenge. He said, "Why don't you revisit some of your old goals and or sort of repurpose them and see what you can do in open water?" That led to racing the Rock Ness Channel Swim, which is a big 20-kilometre swim over in Western Australia.
Yeah, something else.
And it's a cracker of a swim. I mean, the whole city gets behind it, which is just a testament when something in swimming reaches beyond the world of the sport, or transcends the sport. I just wanted to really push myself and see what I could do, and this was 2021. I ended up winning it by a good sort of 700 meters against guys that were on the Australia team in open water, and I just kind of realized, that's it. So, pulled off this incredible win, realized that I still had like a fuel in the fire to continue and go on and try to push myself for other challenges. But one of the big ones was I'd raised about $10,000 for a local mental health charity. In that through that process, mental health and depression is something that's quite close to my heart, as someone that's had experiences with struggles in the past, and other people in my life have seen how it's impacted them too. And so all of these things combined kind of made me think, well, what can I do? Like, how can I continue this? How can I challenge myself? And could I use it as a vehicle to raise money and awareness for this important cause? And ultimately that led to the Ocean 7.
The Ocean 7, it's got so many variables in it, so many different parts. I mean, when you're training for one event, you have a set of endurance elements that you need to go. How did you train for the variety and the multi aspects of the Ocean 7 and all the different challenges involved with it? Did you vary your training plan in some way?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the Ocean 7, you've got swims that are in tropical places like Hawaii versus less tropical places like Scotland. So they're all throwing their own unique challenges towards your way, and so you have to prepare for that. We embarked on this journey. We set this goal of trying to do all 7 of them within the space of a year. That was something that no one had ever done before.
So as you set out, that was the goal straight away. It didn't sort of morph as you started to get the bookings and start saying, we could have got opportunity. It was actually right.
That's it. Yeah, we, which is something that is very against it put me out of my comfort zone. I'm someone that usually is quite quiet about what they target, what their goals are, but equally, we were trying to do this to raise money for mental health, and it required putting this aside, and this is more important. If we can create a bit of generate a bit of interest in what we're doing, it hopefully can transfer through to this cause that we're supporting. So, with marathon swims, there's no way of getting around it. Like, you have to prepare for the distance, obviously. And that's something you can do. You can prepare for the cold, doing your ice baths, or in Perth, our winter months are obviously a European summer, so swimming in the river in winter, water temperatures are about 15 degrees, so it's perfect for preparation for things like the English Channel. Swimming at night, you can get practice of that beforehand. I think it's important that you do. But there were things that we knew would be a lot harder to prepare for. Things which most swimmers will refer to as the mental aspect of these swims. I think it's Alison Streeter or Frida Streeter that says it's 80% mental, 20% physical. And so those are things that you can't prepare for the weather turning in the middle of your swim and your pace getting absolutely annihilated. You can prepare for someone giving you bad news that you're already hurting and it's probably going to take you another 6 hours. These are things you have to really experience in order to know how you will respond in those moments. But what we thought we could do before our swims is just be as prepared as possible. Go into them having planned out all these possible scenarios, like what do I do if I get cold, and then I'll add it on, a swim plan. If I get cold, we heat the feeds up a bit more, or increase the sugar to give you a bit of a spike, or what happens if this happens and you get cramps? You've got some kind of lever to pull
that's a great way of doing it. So you had almost like a little risk assessment and then a mitigation.
In order to respond to it, so that if these things came up, which they were bound to happen, we're not rushing to figure out what to do in those moments. It's quite a calm process. You're not burning energy worrying about what might happen, because chances are you've got a plan for it. And then for the ones that you don't, we were looking at, all right, how can we be as robust as possible? How can we be as robust as possible so that in those moments we can be resilient? Because I think robustness is all about preparation and making sure that you are supported with the right people out in the boat, supported in terms of, or you're prepared in terms of all these possible scenarios. And that enables you to be resilient when challenges come your way out in the water.
That's right. I mean, the other bit that brings in is because the whole team having to buy into that plan and being ready and being brave. Did you have the same team as well, or was it?
Tried to maintain the same team as much as possible. I mean, obviously, with all these swims being where they are in the world, you work with the local skippers because they know the waters. They have the experience, all these kind of things. They're located in the right place. Obviously, you can't just take a boat and plonk them over on the other side of the world. But we wanted to have as many people that were familiar with the plan as possible, familiar with how I operate, how to get the best out of me when I'm hurting, and we all had to. We were in this position where we had to trust each other and trust that we all had our own roles to play out in the water. Because
did you have any specialist coaches that came in at different times to give you advice or mentoring or?
I had. Yeah, I was very fortunate. I had several mentors along the way. I mean, Jay Prashal, who's here in Montenegro, he was probably the biggest mentor along this journey. He's been to 6 of the 7 swims, which is just pure commitment, and he did it out of his own bag. I'm an unfunded athlete. I paid for this myself, and Jay was fortunately in a position where he was able to join me. Guys like Shelley Taylor-Smith, legendary open water swimmer, being able to access someone like that who has experienced these kind of things and knows exactly what would have been going through my mind, because she's been in this position before and can speak from experience, and just had so much knowledge to share and so many insights. And we were talking about it before with the swimming community. Like, the swimming community in general is just so encouraging and so supportive and helpful.
It really gathered momentum as well. I remember when the first swim came, even from that point, as you said, make that statement that this has been done in the year, and that could go one or two ways. It's like, who's this person comes in? The community's not like that. If someone is brave enough to throw the gauntlet down, then that's the nice thing about it. And they did. Everyone's interested. The messages. I'm not clear how you kept up with it, but the messages just kept coming through. And as it built, as it built,
people start to think, this might
pressure
actually
build on you in that, because obviously the statement at the beginning with each one, particularly getting into the last one.
Yeah, which I think we'll chat about that. But no, I mean, naturally, obviously, there was pressure coming in at the end, and you don't want to let anyone down. But I'll just take a step back there. I mean, obviously, coming out with that goal at the beginning, it's a daunting thing to do. You know, you're putting yourself out there, you're making yourself accountable. There will always be people that say in life that things can't be done. And I had my fair share of those. I had people messaging saying, well, that won't happen, mate, and whatnot. But on the flip side, you know, if your reasons are good and you're out there to give it your best, I think there will always be people out there that admire that, and I was very fortunate. You know, people stepped forward and stood forward and saw what we were doing, liked what we were doing, and wanted to help. And you know, I keep coming back to this mantra that marathon swimming is not a solo sport; it's a team sport. And you know, I couldn't have done what I did in this last year without the help of others. That was the only way it was going to be possible.
During that training, did you get any sort of setbacks or slips? And you thought, oh God, no, I've got to pick myself up today. And have to.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who train for events or listen to this will understand one of the hard bits. There's always a dip point over a season when to keep your focus and your motivation on the goal and remind yourself. But when you got one after another, each of these, did you ever, or did you find a way of keeping your momentum or motivation?
Yeah. So I suppose there's two parts to this. Back-to-back stuff, and there's, you know, did you ever have any doubts in the middle of training? And yeah, absolutely. I crashed a lot in training.
Right.
Plenty of sleepless nights thinking, what have I done? What am I going to be able to do this? Not just from a physical point of view, but from a logistical point of view as well. Yes. Trying to organise all these swims, getting the slots is very difficult. Financing the whole thing. You know, I was worried it would all just kind of blow up and I'd look like an idiot. But in terms of the physicality and going back to back, like I think the way things fell with the swims that we were able to organise, it was one swim a month for the last 4 or 5 months, and it is hard. You know, you physically knackered off the back of these swims. I mean, the swim in Hawaii that took absolutely everything out of me. You know, and pushed me so far beyond my comfort zone and into the red. But you know, coming back to that,
was that physically or mentally?
That's what I was about to say. So, like, you know, we talk about physical recovery, and that's always sort of, you know, your natural. You go get massage, or you go have ice baths, stretch, all these things. But the mental aspect, I mean, if the sport is 80% mental, why are we not talking about recovering mentally? And that's the hardest bit. Like, you have to be able to recharge coming off the back of these swims. And look, it's natural. You're going to crash at some points. But what I would say is, when you have that tight-knit support network around you, and the people that will, when you're feeling absolutely wiped and you don't want to keep going, it's going to be them that are the ones that will be able to pick you up and will keep you pushing when all you want to do is give up. And it's so essential. You know, your team's there, not just on race day, but you know, every day.
They give you a bit of tough love as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially out in the channel. There's, you know, Jay, if you speak to Jay, I mean, he'll tell you so many stories. But yeah, there's just, I think they also recognise when I'm just being soft and will give me a good kick up the butt. But no, I'm just super grateful for these guys, and you know, I think it is such a key ingredient into success, surrounding yourself with people that
Picking that team, whether it's your crew or your training team, is so important.
It's so important.
And it's the sort of thing that everyone sees the solo, but the solo swimmer, if they're absolutely honest with themselves, knows it's a team, and their best day's work was not the swim across the channel, where it was deciding on that team.
Yeah.
Sometimes they pick themselves because
get the right
they're
people,
right coach,
right people on the bus,
mates.
basically.
Yeah.
Because I've experienced it when it's not the right people out there, and it's just infinitely harder.
Yeah, I've been very lucky. I've chosen people in the past who, I call it tough love, but it's just how other boys and swimmers and people like that are, aren't they? They just they'll tell you as it is, and it's like, well, okay, I'm not going to get any sympathy, or you can get no quarter there, so I'll just crack on and not even ask for feedback.
One of the hardest bits of endurance events is finding that balance between life and training for the event. Did you find a way through that to keep your focus and be able to do that?
Well, I think I'm in a fortunate position where I'm the owner of a small company. I'm a chartered accountant, so I have that flexibility to be able to work from home, or when I was overseas, still be able to continue to do things there. So that significantly helped what we were trying to do with the Ocean 7 and this goal to try do it all within the space of a year. But a lot of things ultimately suffered, or were not suffered, but were put aside and put on hold as I did this, because it's a huge endeavour to take on, and I suppose the biggest things affected was my personal life, and being able to spend time with friends, or if people wanted to go out for a drink and I have training in the morning, or I'm getting ready for another swim, like I can't join.
It can't be underestimated. That's the first one as well, isn't it?
It is.
You feel like you're impacting on others as well as yourself.
Yeah, that's it. And it's hard, like, because to an extent you do have to be quite selfish in that regard if you've got some goal to work towards, but it can't be at the expense of, I think for me in the long run, it can't be at the expense of these other things like family and friends.
Yes.
And in the long run, like, yes, for the space of a year, I knew I could commit to that. But I think for me going forwards, I need to find the balance and make sure that these other aspects of life, which are probably more important than what I was doing, are adequately looked after as well.
Nice. So you got the challenges themselves then? Get on to the swims. Now I'm going to go through the list in the order and see if I got it right.
Sure.
You tell me. The English Channel, then the North Channel, then Cook Strait, then Mokai, then the Straits of Gibraltar, Catalina, and then the Japanese swim.
So it is.
We'll go on to that.
That's it, yeah.
Because I'm going to, I'm sure it will come up in this next bit, but I was going to ask, what were there any unexpected difficulties in those swims, or what were the challenges that came? I suppose some might have been expected, but the ones that were horribly added pressure.
I mean, I think the first real trial where I really got pushed up to the edge was in the North Channel.
Yeah.
It was a swim that came around fairly last minute. I'd finished the English Channel, been speaking with the guys at Infinity, and they advised that they still had some slots available for the season, and I thought, well, I'm over this part of the world. Let's go and have a crack. And I probably hadn't done enough cold water acclimatization for the North Channel.
It's different league.
Oh, it's different league. I mean, it was brutal, and got about 3 hours into the swim, and it was this cold, overcast day at the end of September, no sun in the sky, and it was just, I felt frozen to the bone. It was just so hard, and I was at the 3 hour mark, arms are going over, and they just feel like lead, and my body just feels like it's shut down. And in my head, I'm just like, holy crap! Like I'm
Second one in.
I'm not like, yeah. Here I am thinking about how cold it is, and I've come out with a statement about doing all these swims in a year, and I'm like, I don't even know how I'm going to manage another 5 minutes. Never mind another 5 hours. Like I wasn't even halfway through, and I was getting this thought of like, I'm really in the hurt locker right now. And so I'm trying all these different things, like going to my arsenal of tools that have helped me in the past, like positive mental self-talk and slow breathing, um, just anything to try get me through those moments. And
Those tools called the mental baseball bat.
The mental baseball bat, yeah.
When you just say,
come on,
I couldn't get on with it.
Yeah. But none of it was working, and it just felt like a damn wall, and it was like starting to like
Really
break, and I'm thinking, geez, like I'm in trouble here. And swimming along, and all the guys are on the boat, and it just kind of dawned on me. I was like, oh, crap! Like these guys are here to support me. So I was like, well, I need to tell them how I feel.
Yeah.
So in between breaths, I'm swimming along, I shout up, I'm like, hey, feeling heavy, feeling cold, but energy is good. Energy was good. Like I felt like I had so much energy, but I just felt like a lead brick. And like the guys on the board were just like laughing away. And how we communicate is through a whiteboard. So Jay just grabbed the pen, wrote a very simple message, and it was just something along the lines of, "We hear you. Warmer feet's coming."
all right.
And within an instant, just felt like this weight just came off my shoulders.
Just through that engagement.
Just through that engagement, and knowing these guys were there, and that I wasn't tackling this challenge on my own. And so, yeah, right enough, they heated up the feeds. They made them really piping hot to try heat up my core. And we brought the feed intervals down to every 15 minutes. And
what were you before that? What was your normal time?
20.
Yeah. Oh, right, okay.
So it's still quite frequent.
Yeah,
we keep our feeds quite small,
yeah.
like small liquids, but just more frequent,
okay.
So that you're not hanging around too long and gulping down too much in one go. So yeah, they made them harder, made them more frequent, and right enough, it just slowly everything became lighter, and speed started coming up, stroke rate started picking up, and all of a sudden, we were back on and like flying home and challenging world record pace, and got across. Scottish Shores just finished over the world record by about 4 minutes, but I couldn't care less. Like gone from this position of being on the brink of giving up, and in all the struggle to making it across, and I was the happiest guy on the planet.
Yeah.
It's just even though I was absolutely smashed and exhausted. Yeah,
but as you
could have been more delighted.
There must be like a big brick in the wall of building this.
Oh, and that's it. You get through these challenges, and the confidence that gives you, going into not just into future swims, but it flows into other areas of life. It was just amazing, and to be able to do it with the team.
Because it's actually quite a long period from that one before you went on to the quick straight, isn't it?
Yeah.
So as you say, mentally to be able to have that strength to be able to carry you through that. Full summer period over in Australia.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So, and look, that's really how the swims fell. So, like I was saying, didn't have. Went into this challenge. We wanted to see if we could do it in the space of a year. We didn't have all the swim booked in. As I started on it, I started to realise just how difficult it was to organise them. There was a lack of slots. The communication was quite challenging at times with some of the organisers. But we just thought we would see how far we could go, and that's we didn't have anything really until March next year, which very fortunately the guys at Infinity started operating out of New Zealand. Jacqueline McClelland was able to sneak me in a window that I think most other swimmers would have balked at. And that was a swim during the night in a spring tide. But that was always the idea, that we didn't want to come over the top of other people. We wanted to be very respectful with the process. We knew that people had been waiting for sometimes years to get these slots. So the way I operated, I just said, look, if you can find space for me, I'll be there at the drop of a hat. And
that's a great thing how you come into the community, because just looking at those first 3 swims, you weren't number 1 swimmer on the English Channel, were you?
No.
So
4.
Yeah. So you slot 4, and anyone who knows the English Channel, very often slot 4 is not the great one to take. So you're living off the scraps on that one.
Yeah.
North Channel, by chance, they happen to have one, so there's a good chance that, as you said, you told us, the grey day, the dreary day,
well,
so
it was right at the end of the season, so I don't think people...
No, that's right. That's probably why it was available. Yeah. And as you say, cook straight.
Yeah. Well, basically, Jacqueline had just said, come over to Wellington, and if there is an opportunity to squeeze you in, we will, and so I did that.
So this challenge is huge anyway, and I hadn't realised all the other bits and components you're talking about here. But you've done it in the hardest days as well.
Well, I mean, look at Japan. There was
we'll get on to that. But no, I'm sorry, interrupted.
No. So
I'll just pick it up with this one, and
well, that was it. We took what we could get, and that was always I knew that would be the case. So to do that, but to also have a goal of trying to swim the fastest Ocean 7, Attila Manioki, incredible Hungarian swimmer, 64 hours 30 minutes. It was hard to balance them, because if we wanted to do them all in the space of a year, we would have to go in days that were far less than ideal, which made it a lot more challenging. Like, if I could have waited and swum in and taken the best days, it would have been obviously nice, and very pleasant swimming. But I wouldn't have learned anything from this challenge. I wouldn't have had the adversities that I did and my team did. We wouldn't have appreciated the journey as much as we have this last 7 months, which is wouldn't have it any other way.
Any marine life on those ones?
Obviously the lion's mane jellyfish in North Channel. Fortunately, the infamous lion's mane jellyfish. I did get stung a couple of times in the training up in the lead up to it, but on the day maybe twice or 3 times. It wasn't too bad. New Zealand, I was a bit nervous because there's sharks in the water there. It was a swim through the night in a spring tide. People were saying that couldn't be done. Heard all these horror stories before I jumped in there. Hawaii, I did.
How did you get married? Did you go percentage-wise? Because that's really what if you look at it, percentage chances of you coming across it quite so. But that doesn't really work if it's in your mind, because you go, well, I could be 2%,
the one,
5%, whatever it turns out to be, and there is still a chance.
There's still a chance, and didn't help that one of the ladies I was staying with saw one in her swim. So. But it's
part of the challenge, isn't it?
It's one of those things. You have to accept it. The more that you think about it, the more you worry about it, the more it's going to drain energy out of you. And it doesn't benefit you by worrying.
So that's how you compartmentalised it. So look, I could spend a lot of energy on that. So that's it.
Yeah, I try not to think about it, and nighttime swimming especially, you can't see what's underneath you.
Yeah.
Naturally, you're going to be worried. Naturally, because you're not human if you don't. But you've got to find a way to stay calm in those moments. And for me, having the boat right there, knowing that there's a set of eyes on you, that's as much reassurance as it gets. And, if one of the beautiful things that my support crew do is on the whiteboard, they'll write down messages that people are sending in from around the world, friends and family. And that's something that's really good to focus on in those moments. It keeps you grounded and reminds you that people are with you through all of these challenges ahead.
So there's a lot of noise kicking in at that time.
Oh, so great. Yeah. Oh, gosh.
I just, now, sorry, I'll message you by, if I know now, but, just to sort of give you assurance, but at the time, the noise that was kicking around, nothing to do with you when you're done, but just around the swim, just you coming into that. For those who don't know, it was all around, a lot of swimmers hadn't been able to make it, or even been given a chance. And, there were different rules coming in. There was huge question marks around, actually, should it be in 7? And all of that noise whistling around as you were, travelling across to Canada. Hopefully get a chance.
Yeah, and that's it, Mickey. So the Super Strait was the last of my Ocean 7 swims. I've been successful in every one to date, and then this was basically the final stretch of the challenge, and all of this was kicking off in the swimming community. People saying, what. There was a lot of noise about, or a lot of reaction to all these field crossings, and people saying that it shouldn't be in the Ocean 7. People saying that it was now an unswimmable swim. People questioning how I'd organised my swim because I wasn't going with the same organisers as the other 13 people that had attempted it this season. So it was a huge distraction, and it's never nice knowing that people are talking about you in an ill light, and people that probably don't know anything about you or who you are or your character.
I reckon imagine that must be the hardest one.
And it is.
It's people don't know you.
Jumping to conclusions without actually asking what asking the questions or reaching out to find out more. Well, we're all human. It definitely affected me leading into the swim. I've never felt weight on my shoulders like I did before that one, and I came into it, already with the fatigue of the last 12 months on my shoulders, plus this,
Pressure being the last one,
and the pressure of it being the last one, and so I was
and also you were close to the record at the time.
Yeah,
so
that's it. So there was a lot riding on this one, and I was basically just holding it all together as much as I could before, and that's before you even get into the swim. That's before turning up on the start line. So, but very fortunately in those moments, I had Jay with me. I had my mother Ruth, my uncle Andy.
So all with you.
And they were with me in Japan. I wasn't having to do this alone. And even beyond those borders, I had my team that had been supporting me throughout this whole journey. The guys that had been there from the beginning. And they were just a message away. We were all in a group chat, and we just almost went into this bubble where we switched off from social media. Didn't want to read what was online because it wasn't going to help. and we just had to trust our instincts, and we researched things on our own. We came up with a comprehensive plan with the pilot, and had to stick to our guns. And when we got out there, we had a pretty hairy day in terms of conditions. It was good 8 km/h cross currents. For most swimmers, we know that anything above 5 k's an hour is not really a sustainable pace. And no,
nothing easy about the challenge.
It really wasn't. But Jay and I looked at it, and we thought, well, we will just do what we've always done and give it our best. And if that's good enough to get across, great. If not, can you really ask for more? Because that's it. Like, that's all you can do. The sea,
the sea. Look yourself in the mirror type thing. You look yourself and go, "That's the best."
Well, and it applies massively in marathon swimming, because there are so many variables involved that affect time and whether a swim is possible, and they're all out with your control. So there's no point worrying about them. Just worry about things you can't control, and that's your effort and your mindset on the day.
So you can't only we were there as you achieved it. Something that I think probably, if there was a betting shop that would take bets on you anything about it, would probably have put you as an underdog against those conditions and all of those, looking at the form book, everything. And as you say, to be able to keep, even if that was just the event without all the noise around it, that to get through that was great. But to have your family, that must be so proud.
I mean, my mother is she's a little Asian woman.
Yeah.
Gets sick at the sight of a car, never mind
really?
Never mind going on a boat.
How did you convince her to go on? Or she wanted?
She didn't want to, but she knew that if she was there, it would help.
Yeah.
And I think,
So she's come over her own challenges then.
Well, that's it. I mean, she was on the boat, and I kid you not, Mickey, she was just shouting from the very beginning. And it didn't make sense. She was just shouting things like stretch and go and glide and all these kind of things. And I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. But the fact that she's there and she's just through thick and thin, just didn't leave my side. Just standing and cheering for the whole thing. There's something reassuring when you know these people that are so important in your life are right in your corner. And it's somehow, when times got as tough as they did, there was always a source of strength. You're thinking to them, and that you want to keep going for them and push through anyhow in order to make them proud. And, when you've got these people on your journey, helping you every step of the way, it means that when you do succeed in the end, you've got these people to celebrate as well, because they've been such an important part of that process. And that was it. It was not just the guys on the boat and Subaru, but the wider team. It was just really special to be able to do it for all of them.
In fact, I'm more impressed by the challenge than yours. Because I know how rough it is going on a boat that you don't want to go on. I've got friends who I had one on my boat who's we've been together since school, and he's a great guy, and we call him the king of one of his dickies. And so he was that person who would always keep the spirits up and things like that. So I thought, I want him on the boat. Yeah. So he's come on the boat. I heard from Crockett, he was sick as a dog throughout. But when I was, looking up every time on the swim, he was there, always there. Always there. Every feed he was there, everything like that.
Smiling.
And they said it was almost as if when the head went down or I was taking the other side, he'd thrown the other side of the boat.
But he doesn't want you to see that, though. Yeah.
As I say, but that's what the crews do, isn't it? Yeah. That's what your team does. They're brilliant. So, how do you think, just some advice, do you think it shaped or reshaped perspective in your own sort of personal limits and, you know, outside of swimming side of things? You know, has it shaped your belief and your strength? Have you put demons down?
I think it's certainly.
Because when you said earlier about the Commonwealths, you know, I know they're different, but what you've achieved is ultimately representation.
I mean, you know, I think for many years, Mickey, I beat myself up for not having perhaps reached my potential in the sport, and I always felt that I'd let a lot of people down by not making it to a Commonwealth Games or an Olympics. Like people that invested time or belief in me, my coaches or my parents who would wake up at crack of dawn and scrape ice off the car to take it to training. So to do this challenge and to do it in that manner, I felt like it was I suppose me paying faith in some small way, me paying the faith and belief in that they've placed in me in some small way. So I suppose from a personal perspective, the mindset has certainly changed. I mean, I think I grew up as a competitive pool swimmer where there's a lot of emphasis on times and end results, and that I came into my first swim in English Channel with that mindset of let's have a crack at records and let's see what I can do. And I actually remember being halfway through the English Channel and we'd covered. We were on 5k an hour pace. So I'd gone through the first 2 hours, done 10k, and thinking, right, just keep holding this, and we're on for a record here. And that quickly changed when the tides. It changed with the tides, and we got absolutely battered in France and missed Cap Clean A. But we managed to hold on for the British record. So it was probably the best result though, because it wasn't just given on a platter. I did get an appreciation for just how much of an impact and how important all these variables in the ocean are to your time. And I think that's one of the big lessons that's come out of this is if you give it your best, like you can ask for more, and it's also really highlighted the importance of having great people around you and support and a team to face life's challenges, not just swimming challenges, but life's challenges as well. And so I think moving forward, that's the mindset I'll always be taking.
Okay, so if we go on to the charity bit element that you were doing it for now, because I know it's both important to the podcast, but also I know it's extremely important to your heart and around the mental health. So what made you choose to raise money and awareness for the mental health and particularly the Black Dog Institute specifically?
Well, I suppose the mental health is one of the most pertinent issues of our time. It's something that affects anyone. It doesn't discriminate. The World Health Organization says that depression will be the biggest health concern worldwide by 2030. But I suppose from a personal point of view, I'm someone that's lived with depression. I've experienced and had my struggles, but I've also seen how it's impacted others in my life. My grandfather was one of my biggest idols growing up. A really incredible man who taught me so many things about what it is to be. I suppose just he wanted us to be good people, but he was also someone that was deeply crippled by depression, and that it had a profound impact on me. It's certainly seeing how it affected him when I was a kid. It wasn't easy to see,
No.
this guy he was my sort of idol, and we were always sort of taught as kids, as Donaldsons, my sister and my cousin, that in life we should use our skills to help others. And I thought maybe in business I could be able to do that. I became an accountant because of it, but I also saw an opportunity in swimming to maybe help other people that were struggling, or to share the lessons or experiences that I've had, that in a way that may inspire others. So when I set off on this journey, I was trying to figure out who to partner with. Ended up going with a mental health research institution, because I feel that guys like my grandfather, or some of my friends who I've sadly lost to suicide, I kind of wish the whole topic was understood better.
Yeah.
Not just the treatment aspect of it, but the prevention side of it too. And I think for me, I'd love to see, especially with it being such an important issue, like I'd love to see more of an understanding around it, and people being educated around it, not just how to treat yourself, but how to help other people that
recognise it as well.
might be struggling, and just having those conversations. I'm not saying that we all need to be qualified to support people, but just how do we have those conversations? How can we encourage people to go and get help? And I think for me, my dream would be to see stuff around mental health being taught at schools.
Yes.
So that stuff around mental health, stuff about emotional intelligence, being taught to the next generation, so that they're equipped with everything that they need to tackle life's challenges, because in life, challenges are a given.
It is, yeah. It is, and I think thank you for sharing. That's really profound, because I think teaching it at schools, having awareness within parents and society, it's one of the things that there's a lot around physical health. Talk about it, and when people say about mental health, it's that well-being, and you should have mental health and physical health talked about in those ways. So I'm not feeling mentally fit today, or I'm not feeling physically fit, and you look at it the two ways. If you weren't physically fit, everyone would rally around and go, go down the gym, here's a set, here's a thing like that. If you're not mentally fit, people, what do we do? It's like it's their own personal experience, and I think there's a lot of people I know and experienced with the depression and the mental challenges and anxiety, and it really hurts to see those people that you love not being able to get it and get the right help. And I think that's the thing, is people, two-stage, isn't it? It's recognising they need the help, and others can help them with that, but recognising they need help, then there being the right services and support available for them, and that's the way to do it. So I know that you're looking at continuing the support with them. How in the future are you looking to create? Because I know you're keeping the awareness going on this one. Have you got anything planned or coming up, or you're going to develop what you've started with the charities?
Well, we've been speaking to a number of charities in the background of this. A big goal of ours with the Ocean 7 was to try and get some tangible outcomes from the challenge. Would love to see, I think the dream would be to see this come into schools, and for that to happen, we're going to have to start being a bit more political. It has to be driven by policy, government policy, but we're taking those steps and speaking to the right people. And I'm no expert on mental health. There's plenty of qualified people that are, but maybe I one thing I would say is we all have a voice, and we can all do things to bring that to the forefront and into the public eye, and that's what I hope to be able to do and continue doing through my swimming.
On the swimming side of it, I mean, a lot of people who've gone through endurance challenges, they have like the challenge blues as they come out afterwards. Yeah. So I think goodness knows how many you must have gone on the roller coaster on the one before. But I suppose you've always got, the stick's been thrown forward for you to go and fetch for the next one and the next one. Have you had? Now you got to the end, you had the chance, and obviously there's been a bit of a whirlwind of, rightly so, for the publicity and interest in it, and hopefully that will continue, because, as I say, there's so many aspects to this that we can all learn from, and I know the community will, but outside the community, you say around the mental health. But have you found that challenging, coming down the other side of it? Sort of like the what next?
Funnily enough, Mickey, I haven't had the crash. I've had it in the past. After Rottnest, the Rottnest Channel Swim, when I won that in 2021, I had a huge crash. I was expecting it here, but I haven't had it yet, and I'm a little bit surprised. I managed to have a bit of time off with my family. My mum came over from Scotland, and with my sister and her partner and her kids, we all went on a little holiday for a few days. I probably, admittedly, haven't taken enough of a rest since I got back from Japan at the end of July. It has been non-stop. Lots of media, and also trying to capitalise on what we've just done, trying to get these messages of around hope and mental health out there. But I think I know I have things to look forward to, which I think is helping, and for me, I'm so excited about what's next, and now we have this momentum and this platform to work from. I'm kind of looking forward rather than backwards.
Absolutely, and I can imagine.
There's not, although there's a lot of uncertainty ahead, I'm quite comfortable with that, because with uncertainty is opportunity. So, I know the rough direction I want to go, and that's comfortable enough, or enough for me to be comfortable with.
You must. Just thinking through, as you were saying that, the amount that, and I know when you're in the place where it's hard to be able to look back at what you've been through in the past to build for the bits going forward, but if you look at the physical challenges of not wanting to continue the North Channel, or the mental challenges of the whirlwind that was happening around Sugaroo and things like that, I'm sure you'll be able to draw on so much of that will benefit others going forward into this charity. I can't think of a better ambassador for the charity, and I really hope, and if there's anyone in the community here that have got any contacts on that one, send them Andy's way, because this, as I say, for me, what you're doing, what you've done, and how you've approached this, and I think probably the approach is my favourite part of it, because the challenges have been done. They're not done as fast and as well as they've gone through, but your whole approach of coming into the community and doing it and taking it forward has been immense.
And that's it. It's been a team effort in that regard. It's not just me. But our approach has always been just do our best, and if that's good enough, that's great. But what I will say, I'd love to. One of the things I'm looking at next is how can I share these lessons with other people, or share these stories, because I feel like there's so much, like you said, there's so much in this to unpack from this last, not just the 12 months, but beyond, that might be able to help others. So, whether that's writing a book or putting together a documentary, something that will be accessible for people to go and read or watch that might be able to help in some small way or inspire?
I would say both. It's just, it's so strong what you got there, and maybe on the inside, it's good because you lived it. But from the outside, there are so many. I mean, as we said, the mental challenges, the physical challenges. It's around the world. It's a global thing. So, yeah, I think the documentaries definitely, the book definitely.
Well, if you know some people,
yeah. Well, this is it. Look, if anyone is out there and do it, and we go through it. But yeah, definitely, let's try and make this happen. Cause that's it'd be something decent to watch at the cinema. Who did you get to play you?
I don't know. I'll ask you that question. Who looks like
fictitious stuff?
Who looks like me then? So who has the Scottish accent?
Yeah. Well, crikey, yeah. All right, you could do it then.
I'll just
I'll tell
play
you
myself.
And then what we'll do, we'll have someone doing a podcast at the end, and that'll be Brad Pitt because he can play me.
Again, he's used to come back to
Montenegro. Yeah. We'll have to come back here. Right. Yeah. So to finish off, and as I say, we'll give you it's a regular feature we have with on the podcast where we have fictitious swim-offs.
Okay.
Completely made up.
Yep.
Absolute rubbish. But what I try and do, and I've managed to get them on this one as well, is we put the two made-up swim-offs into AI and see if it had to. And I've said this before. It keeps rejecting and go, well, I have got no data for this. But I said, okay, if you had to, give me who would win and why. This is, what would you? And so I use his reply or she's reply or its reply. What is it? AI. Multi whatever it can be.
The pronouns.
Let's not get into that. Yeah. I don't want to get into that. Yeah. So from that side, I pulled off two that were suggested for this one. You can either have a musical swim off, or you can have both, or you can have a Scottish Royal, English Royal swim off.
The latter.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Scottish Royal, English Royal.
Okay then. Who would win in a swim off between Queen Elizabeth I
the Virgin. Oh no! Wait.
And Mary Queen
Mary
of Scots.
Mary Queen of Scots.
You're too quick on that one.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
that's an easy one.
Go on. Go on. Give us the
I
reason.
think she's got. It's not even sibling rivalry. It's kind of. They're cousins, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, Elizabeth kind of locked her up, didn't she, for all those years?
Yeah.
There must be like a sort of pent-up resentment or sort of anger towards her, so she would have drawn on those emotions when she was battling, and I'm sure there'd be a couple of elbows to the face.
Hang on, is that how you got through today in Montego?
Yeah, when anyone came close,
See, I told you before we started.
This is why
you should have been playing polo.
You
should play Warpath.
This is why I've been have to do channel swims on my own. No one wants to come in with me.
I know everyone's on tenterhooks waiting for this one. Then. The actual answer is, and you're correct, Mary Queen of Scots. And she demonstrates her survival instincts and resilience, narrowly edging out Queen Elizabeth I with her unwavering determination, adaptability in the water. There we go. So you're right.
There you go.
So AI knows its stuff. Do you want to have one?
Yeah, go on.
Go on.
So what have we got?
This one's a bit more universal. Who would win in a swim-off between the Beatles and the Spice Girls?
All right.
These are the big topics, these ones.
So we're talking like a relay team across the English Channel or something like that?
Yeah. I hesitate this one because no one's ever come back with specifics. Oh no, we did on one where it was over a short distance. It had to be because we didn't think either of them would make the long distance, and so go on.
Beatles.
Okay, we're on Beatles. Right. So it says here the Beatles would showcase their synchronised routines and musical ingenuity, but The infectious energy and powerful performance
No way.
of the Spice Girls would lead them to a thrilling win, captivating the audience.
Really good.
I tell you what, I want to meet this AI because they come up with some great stuff. But anyway, there
That's
we are.
impressive.
You've actually got 2. No one's ever had 2 before, so there you go.
Wait. No, I went with the Beatles, didn't I? In the
Yeah,
second?
no, you got
Beatles.
two questions, but no, you got it wrong.
Oh, I got it wrong. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I thought you were saying 2 out of 2. I was like, oh.
Yeah, no. No, you should have quit while you're ahead, but then, so you're much wiser now to be able to take that forward.
I know that far. Yeah, no, exactly.
If
If I was ever picking a fantasy league
that's
team
it.
of
It's the Spice
swimmers,
Girls. It's going to have to be the Spice Girls.
Spice Girls and Mary Queen of Scots.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Well, look, Andy, I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I hope you have.
Pleasure.
And it's been, as I said at the outset, it's been one of the ones that the moment it was going through, I really wanted to have a chat with you about it because the challenge is the challenge, but the way you went around the challenge as part of the community, I'd like to thank you for that. Not being part of it, but to then get the opportunity when we're out here, which I didn't realise, because I signed up for this one just to turn my arms over and have some fun, and to be able to actually do it face to face is even better. So look, thanks.
Absolute pleasure, Mickey. Thanks for having me on here.
I really appreciate that. Thank you. Cheers. It's done, I think.
All right,
That's really good
awesome,
stuff.
mate. No, that was wicked.
Yeah,
That was really good. I mean, to be able to do it here, and
that's a great answer. That's some great answers.
that was okay.
Yeah, really,
Yeah.
really good. Yeah, really good.
I mean, it helps when you've got good questions and a good person to chat with,
And we conclude our enlightening conversation with the incredible Andy Donaldson on this episode of the MYSWIM podcast. We have delved into the depths of his awe-inspiring Ocean 7 world record and his impactful work for mental health. Throughout our discussions, Andy shed light on the immense challenges he faced while conquering the varied waters of the Ocean 7. His determination and unwavering spirit served as a testament to the power of perseverance. He reminded me that in the face of adversity, the human spirit can achieve remarkable feats. Moreover, Andy shared his passion for mental health support and the vital role the physical activity such as swimming plays in the maintaining emotional well-being. His advocacy work is a powerful reminder that we must prioritise our mental health and support those who may be facing challenges. And I particularly hope he gets organisational support and charity interest into his wish to educate in the schools and get the all-important early conversations going. If you can make connections for this or anything Andy discussed in this podcast, then I have left his contact details in the show notes. This includes any connections for documentaries. It would be fantastic and a powerful story on so many levels. As we conclude this episode, we invite everyone to visit MYSWIM.uk, the official website of the MYSWIM podcast, where you'll find a plethora of resources, information, along with our unique MYSWIM designs. Thank you for joining us on this incredible episode of the MYSWIM podcast. And until next time, make waves, and I hope you'll find your own individual MYSWIM.
People saying that you can't do it.